Welcome to the Call Center Supervisor Client course. During this course, we will cover the basics of using the client and a guided tour of the workspace, how to monitor and manage agents, how to monitor and manage queues, how to run agent and call center reports and view the real-time dashboard, and how to configure a few advanced settings that are available to you. The Call Center Supervisor Client is a web-based tool that runs in a browser window. It is supported in Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, or Safari web browsers. To sign on, please go to the URL provided by your administrator. Then, enter your user ID and password. To create a shortcut on your desktop, go to Settings, then click Plugins. Scroll to Program Shortcuts and click Create Shortcut. This will install a shortcut to use for future sign-ins. Now let's take a closer look at the client. This is the main interface. It contains multiple panes: the Display pane, Call Console pane, Contacts pane, and Queued Call pane. This is the Display pane. It contains global messages, links to reporting and application settings, a pull-down menu to set your ACD state if you are also acting as an agent, and information about your user account. The global message area, which is the center area of the pane, is used to display incoming call information, warnings, and error messages. A message is displayed for several seconds when the event occurs. As a supervisor, you can run numerous real-time and historical reports on both agents and call centers. To generate reports, click the reporting link here. Details on all the agent and call center reports can be found in the report section of this course or in the reporting documentation. The Supervisor dashboard displays real-time statistics about call centers and agents you are monitoring. To view and change your current settings, click the Settings link. You will see a page with tabs across the top. These tabs contain various settings associated with your account. We will cover how to configure these settings throughout the course. To return to the main interface, click Back to Application. If at any time you need additional help regarding the functionality of the call center client, click the Help link and the user guide will open as a PDF. To sign out of the client, click Sign Out. The system may prompt you to select if you would like to save your workspace, meaning how you have set your panes to display within the workspace. You can also select to always save by going to Settings and enabling the Always Save Workspace at Sign Out setting in the General tab. Your current line status is shown using an icon next to your name. The different icons are Off Hook or Busy, shown when you are on the phone, Do Not Disturb, Call Forwarding Always, and Message Waiting. The Do Not Disturb and Call Forwarding Always services, if provisioned, can be activated from the Service tab on the Settings page. If you have a new voice message waiting, you will see the voice messaging waiting icon displayed. Please note, only one line state icon will be shown. Do Not Disturb has the highest service precedence, followed by Call Forwarding Always, followed by the Busy phone state. If none of the services are enabled and your phone state is idle, no icon is displayed. The Contacts pane contains your contact directories. To view a contact in any of the directories, click on the header of that directory to show the contacts, and click on the contact box to expand and display the contact's information. To collapse the contacts or directories, click on the header again. The Contacts pane contains the following panels: the Search panel, which enables you to search for contacts in any of your directories; the Enterprise panel, which displays all of the contacts within your company or organization; the Personal Directory panel, which enables you to view, add, and edit any of your personal contacts; the Agents panel. This displays information about the agents you're assigned to supervise. Unlike the other panels, you can see the line state of your agents and information about active or alerting calls, which ACD state they are currently set to, and which call centers they are assigned to, including whether they are currently joined or unjoined to that call center. You can use the Agents panel to barge in on an agent's active call, silently monitor an agent's call, or when an agent is not on an active call, you can select to silently monitor the next call delivered to that agent. You can sort the agents either by name or by ACD state. The Queues panel. This panel enables you to view queues within the enterprise. As a supervisor, you can silently monitor the next call delivered to a queue by clicking the Silent Monitor Next button. The Speed Dial panel. This panel enables you to view, add, and edit your speed dial list. Custom Contacts panels. These are directories that may be created by your administrator that contain a specific set of users in the group. The Outlook panel. This displays all of your Outlook contacts when you have Outlook integration enabled. And last, a General Directories panel is available, which enables you to filter on any of your other contact directories. The Directories panel is particularly valuable because you can select the Show All option and select particular contact directories you frequently access and move them to the bottom of the Call Console pane. This will enable you to quickly navigate to the contacts you frequently call in your day-to-day activity. The Call Console is used to view and manage your current calls. But first, we're going to cover a few buttons and functions that you should be familiar with. This is the header. From here, you can perform a call trace. Simply click on the Call Trace button, and you will run a trace on the last inbound call. You can also enable or disable Auto Answer by clicking the Auto Answer button here. Please note, this feature is designed for agents using headsets. You can also view your call history. This button enables you to access your call history lists, and the lists are categorized by missed, placed, and received calls. You can select a contact from your call history and click the Call button to call that contact back. Also displayed in the header is the dialer, which is used to enter ad hoc numbers, and the Dial button, which is used to initiate the call. You can also redial recently placed calls by clicking on the Redial button and selecting the number you'd like to redial. This section displays all of your active, held, and alerting calls. Also shown in the Call Console is the Conference Call pane. This pane shows the participants in an active multi-party conference call you have initiated. While on an active conference call, the header bar contains various controls that allow you to manage the conference, including End Conference, Leave Conference, and Hold Conference. The Conference panel lists the call legs that make up your current conference call. Each leg is displayed on a separate line, and you can hold or end each leg or participant of the conference. The queued calls pane is used to monitor and manage queued calls. Click Options, then select Edit Queue Favorite Dialog. From here, you can select which queues you'd like to show in the panel, activate night service or force forwarding settings, and select how many individual calls you'd like to show on the screen. You can display information on up to 5 queues at a time, but you can change which queues you'd like to show at any time. Within each call center, you can see which service mode is active and real-time information about how many calls are currently queued in that call center, as well as how long particular calls have been in queue. You can also retrieve calls from queue, promote calls within queues, and transfer calls from queues. Please view the Monitoring and Managing Queues section of this course to learn more. As a supervisor, you have visibility from the client to see the following information about any agent that is assigned to you: their current line state, meaning if they are on or off the phone, information about active calls, such as caller ID and call duration, their current ACD state, available, unavailable, wrap-up, or sign out, and which call center queues they are currently assigned to and their current join status. Click on the Agent Panel header to view the agents that have been assigned to you. In order to monitor these agents, you will need to select the agents to monitor from the Agents panel. Click the Edit button, then check the agents you would like to monitor, and click Save. The agents you are monitoring will display their phone and ACD state. The icon to the left of the agent's name represents the agent's combined phone and ACD state, which indicates the agent's ability to take calls. These icons can be red, green, yellow, or gray. The icon will be red in the following scenarios: the agent is in the available state but on an active call. The agent is in the unavailable state, either on an active call or idle. The agent is in the wrap-up state but on an active call. Or the agent is signed out of the call center. The icon will be green when the agent is in the available state and not on an active call. The icon will be yellow when the agent is in the wrap-up state and not on an active call, or the agent has a call ringing in on their line and is in the available state. The icon will be gray when they have not been selected as a monitored agent. To view the call centers that agents are joined to and their current joined status, click on an agent. That information is displayed here. You can also silently monitor agents' calls or their next call, change their ACD state, dial an agent, or barge in on an agent from here. We will be covering how to perform those functions in the following sections. You can silently monitor an agent's active call, or you can select to silently monitor the next call delivered to an agent or a queue. To silently monitor an active call from the agent's panel, select the agent to silently monitor. Then click the SM button. You will see a conference call displayed between you, the agent, and the third party in the conference call pane. You will not be part of the call, only silently monitoring. If you choose to enter the call, click the Barge button. This will make you an active party in the conference call. If you would like to silently monitor the next call that an agent or queue receives, click the SMN or Silent Monitor Next button. Once an agent is on an active call, you will see a conference call displayed between you, the agent, and the third party in the conference call pane. To learn more about the barge-in and silent monitoring warning tone options, please see the Settings section of this course. As a supervisor, you can change the agent's ACD state by clicking on the ACD button. Then select the ACD state you would like to put that agent to. For example, if you know an agent is at their desk and should be taking calls, but their ACD state still shows unavailable, you can select the available state here to put that agent into that state. As a supervisor, you have the ability to barge into an active call of any agent you are monitoring. From the Agents panel, select that agent, then click Barge. You will automatically be part of the call, and the call will be displayed in your conference call pane. To learn more about the barge-in warning tone options, please see the Settings section of this course. Before you can begin managing and monitoring calls in queue, you must first select the queues that you would like to monitor. Click here, then select Edit Queue Favorite dialog. Select the queues to monitor. For premium call centers, you can configure the number of calls in each priority level that will be displayed in the queue panel. Priority levels are assigned to DNIS numbers. For example, if you are monitoring multiple DNIS numbers and would like to view up to 5 Priority 0 calls, 3 Priority 1 calls, and 2 Priority 2 calls, you can edit those preferences here. Then click Save. Now, when a call is in queue, you can view the call from the Queues pane. You will see the calling party number, time in queue, and, if applicable, the DNIS number associated with that call, meaning the number that the caller dialed into. We will be covering DNIS options later in this course. You can also see if a call in queue has been bounced, indicated with the icon shown here. If there is a voice message waiting in the call center voicemail box, the voice messaging icon will be displayed here. As a supervisor, you can also retrieve a call from the queue if you would like to take that call yourself. From the Queues pane, select the call that you would like to retrieve, then click Retrieve. You can also transfer queued calls either to an agent or to another queue. Select the call from queue to transfer, then select the agent or queue from the Contacts pane to transfer to. Let's transfer this call to the agent Will. Click the Transfer button, and the call will be transferred. Certain events may require you to manually override the current mode of operation in your call center. As a supervisor, you have the ability to enable the night service mode and/or the forced forwarding of calls for selected call centers. To enable night service override and/or forced forwarding, from the Queued Calls pane, click the Service Mode button in the panel for one of the call centers. You will see the Edit Queue Favorites dialog box. For each call center in which you'd like to override the time schedule and manually initiate night service, check the Night Service Override box. This will send calls to the night service destination that has been configured for your call center. If you would like to divert calls to a specified destination temporarily, check the Forced Forwarding box and enter the number to which you'd like to forward the calls to in the Enter Number box. Note night service override has precedence over force forwarding. DNIS is a telephony term that refers to the called or dialed number. Within the call center application, it is used only to refer to the case where multiple dialed numbers have been associated with a single queue or call center. The call center application allows an administrator to configure up to 64 DNIS numbers to a single queue. When they are configured, someone calls into a call center and is ultimately directed to a particular DNIS number within a queue, and the agent receiving the calls sees that DNIS name when the call is delivered. In the queued calls pane, you will see the DNIS number and name associated with the queued call. When DNIS numbers are configured by your administrator, they can be assigned various priority levels. Level 0 through 3, with 0 being the highest priority. As a supervisor, you have the ability to promote calls to a higher priority so that they will be delivered to agents more quickly. Let's take a closer look. You are viewing the Customer Service Call Center. This call center has multiple DNIS numbers configured to it, with various priority levels. You can see the calls are grouped by the priority levels. There are currently 2 calls in queue that were dialed into a DNIS number with priority 3 and 1 call with priority 0. Click here to expand and view the queued calls within a particular priority level. The caller's name, if available, and phone number are displayed here. Click on the call to expand the details and options. Here you can see the current priority assigned to that call, along with the call's position in that queue. You can also view the name of the DNIS that has been configured and the phone number associated with that DNIS number. As a supervisor, you can promote calls from one priority level to another. For example, to move this call from priority 3 to priority 0, which is the highest priority, click Promote and select Priority 0. The call will be moved to the Priority 0 grouping. If you expand that priority grouping, you will see that the call has been promoted. The caller's total wait time is displayed here, and the wait time in that particular priority level is displayed here. To reorder calls within a particular DNIS, click Reorder. To move the call to the front of the queue, click here. The icon displayed here lets you know that that call has been reordered. Click the Dashboard link to view the Supervisor dashboard. Here is where you can monitor, in real time, the stats of all queues and agents that you are monitoring. The top section of the dashboard is used for queue monitoring. From here, you can see the total number of calls currently in queue, the duration of the call that has been in queue the longest, current estimated wait time, average handle time, average speed to answer, number of agents staffed, and number of agents idle, along with the number of agents in the unavailable state. To view the agents that are assigned to that queue, click here. Agents will be listed below. Please note that agents can be members of multiple queues, and you will see the number of queues they are assigned to shown here. If you click on the number, it will display all queues that they are currently assigned to. You can also see when they signed in, how long they have been signed in for, their current call state, and agent ACD state. Under the Averages section, you can see their current percent time available, their average busy time on inbound or outbound ACD calls, meaning time they have been in the busy phone state, and their average wrap-up time. From the Report tab, you can enter default values to be used when you run reports. Enter the default values here. The call completion threshold is used to count the number of ACD calls an agent has completed within a service level during the specified interval. The call completion service level can be set to 1 through 7,200 seconds. The short duration call threshold is used to count the number of ACD short duration calls completed by an agent during an interval. You can set the maximum length of a short duration call to 1 through 7,200 seconds. Here you can select your date format preferences, time format preferences, and the default start day of the week. Next, select your default service level calculations. The options you select here will be reflected when you run reports that require you to select a service level. Options include including or excluding overflow time transferred calls. Check this box to include calls transferred due to time overflow, or uncheck to exclude. Including or excluding all other transfers. Check this box to include calls transferred for other reasons, or uncheck to exclude. Select this option to exclude all abandoned calls from service level calculations. And select this option to include all abandoned calls in service level calculations. Select this option to include all abandoned calls except those that become abandoned before the entrance message completes. And finally, select this option if you would like to include calls that were abandoned, but make exceptions if they become abandoned within a specified interval. Then define that interval here. It can be set to 1 through 7,200 seconds. In this section, we will cover additional settings that are available for you to enable, disable, and configure from the Settings portion of the client. Let's click on the Settings link to get started. You will see tabs across the top of your call center client interface. General, Application, etc. The buttons shown on the left side of this course player contain information about the corresponding tabs that can be found in the client. The General tab is where you can change your password, configure hoteling, which may be used when you share a workstation on different shifts. Please talk to your administrator to enable hoteling. To enable a warning tone to be played to agents when barging in on calls or silently monitoring calls, make your selection here. You can enable and disable Do Not Disturb and Call Forwarding Always from the Services tab. Inactive or disabled services are shown here in the Inactive view. Let's enable Do Not Disturb. Click on that service, then from your Service Settings pane, select Active. Optionally, you can enable the Ring Splash setting, which will play a short trill tone on your phone when someone tries calling you while you're in the Do Not Disturb mode. It is designed as a reminder that you have enabled that service. Then click Save. Please note, when Do Not Disturb is enabled, non-ACD calls will go directly to your voicemail. Now that service is shown in the active view. Click the plus sign to expand. You will also notice the icon near your username displays the Do Not Disturb state. To deactivate, select the service and uncheck Active. Then click Save. To activate Call Forwarding Always, which will forward all incoming calls to another number, select Call Forwarding Always, then check the Active box. Optionally, you can enable the ring splash setting, which will play a short trill tone on your phone when someone tries calling while you're in the call forwarding always mode. Next, enter the phone number you would like to forward your calls to. Then click Save. Now you will see that service in the Active Services view. Click the plus sign to expand. You will also notice the icon near your username displays the Call Forwarding Always icon. To disable, select the service, uncheck the active box, and click Save. Please note the Do Not Disturb service will override Call Forwarding Always if you activate both services at the same time. The Plugins tab is where you can enable and disable call notifications, your focus window settings on incoming calls, configure your Outlook integration settings, and create a shortcut on your desktop to launch the call center client. When the focus window option is checked and the browser window running call center is minimized, Call Center will automatically restore the window on incoming calls. When the Show Notification for Calls option is checked, Call Center displays the call notification pop-up window on top of other applications when you receive a call. When you check this box, you will need to select an option from the drop-down list to specify the condition under which the notifications are displayed. Microsoft Outlook integration enables you to view your Outlook contacts from the Outlook Contacts panel. It also enables you to save new incoming calls as a vCard to Outlook using the pop-up window. Click here to enable Outlook integration. Then select where to retrieve those contacts from. The recommended option is from the default folder. Other selections may result in slow response times to search for Outlook contacts. The last Outlook option pertains to caller identification. Check this box if you would like the system to first search your Outlook contacts for a match on new incoming calls. If the calling party phone number matches a contact you have stored in Outlook, it will display that contact's caller ID on the call notification pop-up. If that caller is not in Outlook, then the caller ID will be displayed as it is presented to the system. Click here to enable. You can use the Program Shortcut setting to create a desktop shortcut for convenient access to the call center. To add the shortcut to your desktop, click here. Then toggle to your desktop to view the shortcut. Now you can use this shortcut to launch the application. From the Report tab, you can enter default values to be used when you run reports. Enter the default values here. The call completion threshold is used to count the number of ACD calls an agent has completed within a service level during the specified interval. The call completion service level can be set to 1 through 7,200 seconds. The short duration call threshold is used to count the number of ACD short duration calls completed by an agent during an interval. You can set the maximum length of a short duration call to 1 through 7,200 seconds. Here you can select your date format preferences, time format preferences, and the default start day of the week. Note that this setting does not impact the format of events durations, which are always reported in the day, hour, minute, second format in the generated reports. Next, select your default service level calculations. The options you select here will be reflected when you run reports that require you to select a service level. Options include including or excluding overflow time transferred calls. Check this box to include calls transferred due to time overflow, or uncheck to exclude. Including or excluding all other transfers. check this box to include calls transferred for other reasons, or uncheck to exclude. Select this option to exclude all abandoned calls from service level calculations. And select this option to include all abandoned calls in service level calculations. Select this option to include all abandoned calls except those that become abandoned before the entrance message completes. And finally, select this option if you would like to include calls that were abandoned, but make exceptions if they become abandoned within a specified interval. Then define that interval here. It can be set to 1 through 7,200 seconds. Thank you for completing the Call Center Agent course.